I tried my hand at making some sausage recently. I have high blood pressure and heart issues, so I try to keep my salt as low as possible. And I looked at some of those curing salts like Prague powder, and the ingredients show it's 96% table salt and food coloring. So I wanted something a little more natural. And I saw that you can use celery juice powder. So I bought some celery juice powder. I had a hard time finding out how much to use, but I ended up settling on about a teaspoon of powder for about 5 pounds of meat. I have a rooster that's pretty aggressive, and it was time for him to go. So I harvested that rooster, and I ground up the meat with a low-cost hand-cranked meat grinder. And boy, it was a tough old bird, very stringy. It was hard to grind up, a lot of sinew and stuff like that. But I'm glad I ground the meat up, because even slow simmered in a stew, this would have been some tough meat. But I mixed my ground meat with this celery powder, a little bit of table salt, because it's not included, but I heavily reduced the amount of salt I added, and assorted spices. I used some mace and some black pepper and a little bit of garlic. And I was hoping to make something like a hot dog. Straight out of the oven, it tasted a lot more like a breakfast sausage, so I thought maybe the curing agent didn't work. But I put the rest of the sausage in the fridge, and overnight, the flavor changed. And now it tastes a lot like those snack sticks, you know, like a mild Slim Jim. It's pretty good, but it's very dry. My chicken was very lean. Next time I'll pick up some lard from Walmart and add that to the sausage. Make it a little juicier and plumper. I'm just out here in an RV in the middle of the desert, so I don't have a smoker or anything like that. So I added a little bit of liquid smoke, and that worked. It's not as delicious as real smoked, but it added the right flavor. I doubt this is preserved for long-term storage, but nothing is now. If you go buy a ham from the supermarket or a corned beef, those have all been cured, but you can't store them on top on room temperature. Those have to be refrigerated. So there's more to the process if you want to safely preserve this food. My process was just about the flavor. I wanted it to taste like a sausage you could buy in the store. And I need to experiment with the recipe a little bit more, but it seems to be working. Chicken probably isn't the best meat for it, so I think the next recipe will be with some goat meat. I will say it is a lot of work, harvesting the animals, butchering the animals, hand grinding that meat, and then stuffing the sausage casings. Pretty much takes all day, so so the whole process might not be worth your time. For example, you can leave the sausage loose, just make patties. That'll save some time in the stuffing. And of course, an electric grinder is a lot easier than a hand grinder. And these home meat grinders tend to bind a little bit. So I had to stop every so often and clean it out and regrind some pieces of meat, maybe cut some of the tendons with a knife to help it go through. I think an industrial strength one is, of course, better with that, but these machines can get pretty pricey pretty fast as you go up in quality. So it was a lot of work, but it's a fun experiment. And I'm going to keep trying to perfect my recipes and techniques. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.